This video is to describe the use of two functions in Excel 2013 that I've found useful for teaching with Excel. Ones I'm looking at are isFormula and formulatext, which will let us check to see whether students have worked with the correct way of producing answers within Excel. So I have a very simple teaching idea here. I have students that I'm wanting to check whether they are able to use Excel to perform simple formulas, but I need to determine whether they've actually worked the formula correctly or they have just used mental arithmetic. So for example, in this addition problem, 13 plus 19, they could just type in the answer for me and I can check to see that the answer is correct. But I can also notice that they didn't use a formula to produce the answer. What I'm actually wanting them to do, well, let's just check and see whether if they put in the wrong answer, what happens. Well, here I've discovered that they've got the wrong answer and also that they didn't use a formula. What I'm hoping to be able to do is to be able to walk around a class and see whether somebody has actually used the formula, which would be, in this case, equals the first number plus the second number. And if we press enter now, we discover that we have got the right answer, 32, but they've also used the correct formula. I've done exactly the same thing for subtraction as well, so let's just put in 3 here, and we see that we've got the wrong answer and we didn't use a formula. Let's put in equals this one, and we'll minus it from the wrong one. So I've got the wrong answer and I've also used a different formula from the formula that was expected. So here they're supposed to have gone equals 25 minus 18, and I've now got the correct formula. So I'm testing to see which formula they've actually put in. Now you might have noticed here that we use b plus d. There is an alternate way that they could have got that. Let's have a look at that. We could have gone sum, and they could have dragged a box across here and summed the line, which has only got 2 numbers in it. It'll ignore the plus, and we find that we've got the correct answer, but we've used a different formula. So we're able to test to see what kind of formula they're working with. Now, the other thing that I've done with this is I've let it change the numbers. Let's change this to 12. And now I've got, it says here, different formula. This has used the sum, so it's changed it to the correct answer. So it's actually determining here what my parameters are over here. So I'm able to modify the values here and still determine whether the answers are correct or not. But we're still working with the wrong formula. If I come back to now equals this one plus this one, then yes, I've still got the correct answer and I'm using the correct formula now. Okay, so that's the simple system that I'm looking at. Can I check to see what formula they are using? Now, the way I've done this, let's just unhide here and see what's going on. So what's happening over here, I do have some calculations that are going on. So we have a look in here, we're testing to see whether something is actually in there, and then I'm giving it a tick or a cross. So we're using wingdings here to be able to get my ticks and crosses. So that's the first thing that's being determined there. The next thing that's been determined over here, we can see my isFormula is being used in there, and it's determining whether a formula has actually been used to produce this answer. So that's the isFormula function. We can find isFormula if you type in equals and is, you see isFormula turns up. Now this is an Excel 2013 function. Sitting here, I have the equals formula text, and it's pointing to E2. So it's working out what is sitting in there as a text comment. So it takes from here and produces a text version of whatever is in there if it's a formula. First of all, it's going to check this formula. Here we're seeing this hash NA, and that's determined that there is no formula sitting over here. So that let's come back and put an answer in here, put in 55, and we see that it's determined that there is no formula being used there, so it's still giving this NA, and that's then being picked up back over here, that there isn't a formula. Now, over here, we have the similar use of this. This is the correct formula that I'm testing for. Now, this has been produced by the formula text. I've taken the formula text from here. I've copied that. So let's just do a copy. And I'm going to place it over here, but I want to place it as a value. So when it's placed there as a value, that's now available as a text string to test against the formula that they have put in back over here. So here you'll see that we are determining that there is a formula, and if there's a formula, then it's moving on to this comparison. So now it's checking to see whether H2 equals I2. So here is H2. Does this information that's been pulled from here equal the same as this, which is my test string here, a set of correct formulas that I'm testing for? And if it is correct, then it will say correct formula. If it's different, then it will say different formula. And if there is nothing being put in, I'm testing for a null value, then it will say you didn't use a formula. So I found this a nice and useful little system in that it lets me see what students are doing, whether they're just giving me a guess, whether they're using mental arithmetic, or whether they're actually using a formula when they're putting in their answers, without having to click on it to be able to see what they're doing. I can walk around in a class and see straight away I've got feedback straight there. Now, usually what I've done, of course I keep this hidden, I won't have that there, and I protect my sheet so they can only click on unlocked cells. So here I let them change the number, that's okay, but they can't click anywhere else. Okay, so they can put in their answer and can't change what we're seeing over here. So that's my little system at the moment. I hope that's useful for you, and I'll try and make a more detailed description of how I produced the formula in here. But the two ones that you will want to have a look at and think about is formula. Check to see whether a formula is present, and then formula text to get a text version of the formula that you can then test back by comparison to see whether your students have put in exactly what you want them to put in when you get them to work with a spreadsheet that you give as a worksheet.